Om Sahana vavatu.
Sahana vavatu.
Sahano bhunaktu.
Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
See, it is saying the one very specific feature of this is it has used dvivachana. Sanskrit has got singular, plural and also for two. Dvivachanam is there. It has used dvivachanam everywhere. Generally all our prayers, whether it is Vedic or Upanishadic, Vedic prayers many are there to me, singular is there. But mostly the good prayers are all for all. That is Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya. That is, we pray for all, let everybody be happy, etc. Here you will find very strange, it is praying for two only. Two means naturally it will be teacher and the student. That Sahana vavatu, that means Saha now avatu. Avatu means Rakshatu. May we too be protected. Saha now means two, we too. Saha now avatu. May we too, both of us, be protected. Now, protected, generally we will think that protected means we should not be physically harmed or physically attacked or anything like that. That is only a gross interpretation. That is, first of all, you have to be physically safe, no doubt about it. There should not be terrorist attack or animal attack or anything like bomb blast, anything. So physical protection is there. But when in Upanishad we are praying that may both the teacher and the student be protected, it means protected from the attack of the worldliness. Do you understand my expression? We are always attacked by worldliness, that is our possessiveness, our selfishness, our smallness, our constriction. This is the major attack. It is much more than the outer attack. Outer attack sometimes you may face, you may not face in lifetime. But this inner attack you are facing always. Protection means protection for the auspicious goal of life. We say that all of us in quite a few shlokas are there in Bhagavatam as well as in Upanishad, that all of us have committed suicide. Atmaha. We are called Atmaha. Why? Because we don't know who is our Atma. We don't know our Atma. That means our identity, real identity. Not knowing means what? That Atma doesn't exist for us. So as long as the ignorance persists, our Shastras are very sharp and clear about it, that we have all committed suicide. It is not the suicide of the physical body also. It is the suicide of the real identity, that we are universal, we are transcendental, not knowing that we are always thinking, I am small, I am affected, I am angry, I am dukhi, everything, I am depressed. So that is called, in Upanishads, that is the suicide, that is the Atmaha. So here protection means we should be protected from all the attacks and the corruption that the world brings to us. That is the real protection, the inner protection. So we are praying for protection from the worldliness. Now, unless really we opt for it, that is our emotionally, mentally, we look for such a purity where we are not haunted by the constrictions and selfishness, the prayer will not have its effect. That is what yesterday I said, these are all self-addressed prayers. By our aspiration for becoming what we are in truth, That itself will work our mind and keep away all the blaming tendencies, selfish tendencies, constriction, ego, whatnot. All those things will be kept away by our prayer itself. Because if we have the emotional association with the prayer we are doing, automatically things will be kept away and we will become purer. So when we are saying Sahanau vavatu, Sahana vavatu, it means that may the teacher and the student be protected, means let not the worldliness haunt us, let not the worldliness corrupt us. Why we are saying? Otherwise this communication will not be proper. This Upanishadic communication of the truth, it will not be powerful. If our mind is full of desires, ambitions, selfishness, constrictions, etc., then however the teacher may try, he will not be. Even staying in an ashram, it will not happen. You will find that the mind is repeatedly getting haunted by the worldly thoughts. The guru is saying something, but the disciple will understand just the reverse of it. If the guru tries to correct, the disciple will think that Swamiji doesn't like me and he is partial to others. All these things will happen. It's very common because this is the way we are. So this aspiring for this protection is extremely important. It is not just the physical protection, but it is the internal protection we are praying for. So may we too be protected, the teacher and the students. Saha nau bhunaktu. Bhunaktu means may we too be nourished. Bhunaktu means nourished. May we too be nourished. Now what is the nourishment we are looking for? Well, physical nourishment of food and all has to be there. Unless we take sattvika ahara, sattvika food, etc., the mind will not be receptive. But much more than that, nourishment with the good thoughts, good emotions, noble thoughts, noble emotions, expansion of the mind. These are the nourishments we look for. So we are praying that may the teacher and the student always be nourished with the real soul, with the properties of the real soul, nourished with universality, nourished with impersonality, nourished with impartiality, nourished with expansion, nourished with love, nourished with universality. Saha nau bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai. Saha viryam karavavahai. May this bahai etc. coming because of the divachana. May we too do whatever we are doing with virya. We are always doing things, always we are active, but we are not doing with the courage. Virya, it is English word will be closer, English word will be courage, but actually here also the meaning is very deep. As yesterday I was saying, our history writing is from other literature only. We don't look for the carbon dating of the coin or of the building or so. It's not necessary. Suppose Viryam you have difficulty in understanding, immediately Karma-kanda tells us that Atmana vindate Viryam. So this is our way of history. So Viryam word can be interpreted in various ways. But next to this Karma-kanda says that Atmana vindate Viryam. That means the real courage will dawn when we are anchored in our soul. That means we are absolutely truthful, transparent, open, simple. We are not covering up our real nature. We are trying to always, generally we are always trying to hide our tendencies, trying to cover up, trying not only cover up, we try to defend also by telling lies. These are our general tendencies. So there is no cover up. In spirituality we have to be like the open book, absolutely open book. The more you cover, it is a self-deception. Cover means you are becoming small. You are hiding yourself, means you are becoming small. When you are open like the sky, well, everybody has some defects, everybody has some virtues. The person who has defects, you will not blame or you will not look down upon him. I also have defect, he also has defect. I have some virtues, he has some virtues. We have to look into the defects and eliminate them, whether it is in me or in others. We have to incorporate, cultivate the virtues for me as well as others. If I can help others cultivate virtue with this auspicious intention, let us help others. So, virya comes from our anchorage in our inner core, in our Atma. Atmana vindate viryam. The shloka in Kenopanishad is Atmana Vindyate Viryam Vidyaya Vindate Amritam. That the immortality lies in knowledge. The real courage lies in the anchorage in our true nature, in our true soul. And the immortality comes from the knowledge, because when we come to know that I am the universal soul which is unaffected by anything happening in the world, even if the whole ocean dries up, nothing happens to the Atma. Even if there is a nuclear bomb blast, nothing happens to the Atma. Then we understand the immortality of our soul. So the viryam, saha viryam karavavahe means whatever we are doing, let us not do with the constricted mind, stealthy mind, covered mind, deceptive mind, but let us do with the full courage which comes from our anchorage in the soul. That means both teacher and student, it's a prayer for both. May we do everything with courage, the real courage. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Tejasvi nav adhitamastu. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Whatever we are studying, may it all become tejasvi, brilliant. Tejasvi, you know Sanskrit. Tejas means brilliance, the radiates. It has to become Tejasvi, otherwise we will read the Kathopanishad slokas, we will teach in the MA course or anywhere. Upanishad is taught in various places, we will teach it. But they will just remain like a picture of a fire, they will not be the real fire. With the picture of a fire, will you be able to cook your food or burn the dead bodies? Nothing can be done. Warmth also you will not get. For that we need a real fire. So whatever we are studying in the Upanishads, or anywhere, that has to become Tejasvi, brilliant. That means when we live it, it becomes brilliant. Suppose just now I said that may we work with courage. Saha viryam karavavahi. Now as long as you just say it, it has no value. When we actually start doing it, suppose I have a fear that if I express the truth, then perhaps I will be sacked from my job, or I will not get the promotion. Are you able to face it and say that no, whether I get the promotion or not, I will be truthful? It happens in life, it happens often. You have to speak against the director. And if you speak, the director will not give you the post. But whether you are ready to do it or not. Not foolishly, but where it is necessary. If it has nothing to do with the truthfulness or so, you should not go and announce that no, I have this defect, that defect. Nobody is asking you to do that. So, the knowledge becomes powerful, tejasvi, brilliant, when we live the knowledge. Once you are there will be a mental tendency to cover up. You work on your mind and come up with the truth and be courageous enough to speak the truth. Then we'll understand that how whatever we do with courage and how the knowledge becomes brilliant. That is, we have to live the knowledge. Then only the rakshatu, that suppose, what is the raksha? I said, from the worldliness. Now when the worldliness, the blamingness, selfishness, constriction, they are haunting us, if we really think of the auspicious goal and keep them away, that well, I have hosted you for such a long time, please relieve me now on, I want to become expansive, I want to become universal. Don't come and attack me again and again, all this with all these blaming tendencies and selfishness and all. And when you get rid of that, you will find such a great relief. We are unnecessarily carrying all kinds of tension just because of our constrictions. You will feel so cheerful, prasada, that as I was discussing yesterday night. So much placidity will grace our mind that you will know this is living the knowledge. The moment you apply it, immediately it becomes powerful. Suppose, as we give always the example, you have lost everything. Suppose you have lost your property, lost your job, lost your relatives, everything. You are crying and howling and, oh Lord, why to me, why it has happened. That is how people generally do. You go on crying and howling and all. Now, let us look at it with a little more of intelligence. By such expression of crying, howling, etc., Are you going to get back your property? Or whatever you have lost? Anything, you cannot go back on time? For getting back whatever you want to do, you have to work again. Leave that aside. Now that you are suffering from great stress, which is making you behave like this, this is because of what? Is it because that you have lost all these things? Or because of the non-readiness of your mind to accept whatever has happened? Watch my word. Think about it. You are having the stress in your mind. Is it because of losing all these things, or because of the non-readiness of your mind to accept whatever has happened? So the moment you operate the acceptance switch in your mind, you don't have to even move your hand, it is inside. Operate the acceptance switch in your mind, immediately you will find that all the stress has gone. You will feel such a great relief. With that relieved mind, you can work much better to get back all of whatever you have lost or so. The best possible solution will come. If you go on remaining agitated, howling and repenting about whatever has happened, you will not, the opportunities will pass through you. You will not see the opportunities because of the agitated state of your mind. So the moment you accept the situation, immediately peace will dawn, relief will dawn, the stress will go. And you will be having, immediately you will find some solutions in front also. The best possible solution will come out of it. So this also you have to live it. That means when something is haunting your mind, causing stress in your mind, accepting that situation, immediately this acceptance, this knowledge of acceptance, if you operate it, if you live it, then only you will understand its power. And then you do whatever you want in a much better condition of the mind, the solution will be much better. Do you understand the point? So this is the meaning of living the knowledge. Tejasvi now adhitamastu. Whatever we are studying, it will become really brilliant. The more number of times you operate on it, you apply it, you live it. More and more we live it, it will become tremendously tejasvi. You will feel that I am like a fire. The knowledge, the fire of knowledge will completely devour you, completely make you almost vaporized. Or vaporized, not almost. It is such a great power. It comes by living. The more you live, the more the power you get from it. Tejasvi now adhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. May we not have intolerance or hatred towards each other. This last one is extremely rare in the Upanishads, but so it is extremely it's greatly meaningful also. People will ask that where is the question of having intolerance towards the Guru, or hatred towards the Guru, or hatred towards the disciple? No. A real sadhak will know that this is the most common thing. The moment corrections are given, our ego revolts. And there will be a lot of intolerance. There are so many stories in the Upanishads or in our literature also, where the student wanted to kill the teacher. The teacher was doing everything for his welfare, thinking that he is a brilliant student, he should not become egoistic. For that he was taking care. But the student did not understand. He got so annoyed that he made some artifact to kill the Guru. And then only he heard what the Guru is telling. The wife was asking that, why are you... it is the story of, what is the name of the boy? Divakar. Why are you... he is such a good student that he is helping me in everything I find. And such a good boy is not there in our Gurukula. Why are you always punishing, always correcting him, speaking to him harshly and all? Guru said, you don't know, he is a great talent. If I always appreciate him, he will become egoistic and he will lose all his qualities. So he has to be kept under check. That boy was sitting on the rooftop, holding a huge stone on the rooftop. He thought of dropping on the head of the teacher, made all the arrangement with rope and all. Hearing that, he underwent a change. Next day he goes and asks the Guru that what is the punishment, what is the atonement if somebody wants to kill the Guru. Guru says, why are you asking that? You are a good boy, there is no question of asking anything like that. No, please tell me, please tell me. What is the atonement? Finally the Guru said that to die, to commit suicide in Tushagni, die in Tushagni. This was the common thing which Kumaril Bhatta also followed, because he had betrayed his Buddhist Guru. He wanted to defeat the Buddhists. So he went to a Buddhist Guru, the greatest Buddhist Guru of that period, and learnt all the knowledge, Buddhist knowledge from him, so that he can defeat the Buddhists. Now he did it for the benefit of Vedanta, but he took a wrong way. So after defeating all the Buddhists of his time, he said that I have done a wrong thing to do it, so I have to take the atonement. So he prepared the cavity in which Tusha means the husk. It was filled with husk. Up to this will be the husk. And they will set fire at the bottom. So it will take days for the fire to come. And when it comes here, he cannot talk anymore. Slowly. That also he will still be living. So he has to die a slow death like that. This is the punishment. That is what the other day I said, that when Shankaracharya went to defeat the Karma-kandis, Kumaril Bhatta was a Karma-kandi, the Yaga Yajna's ritualist. So when Shankaracharya went to him, he said that I will not be able to, the fire has come up to this. It will take a few minutes for my words to go. I will not be able to argue now, but you go to Mandana Mishra and defeat him, then it will be equal to defeating me. So Kumaril Bhatta did it because he had deceived the Buddhist Guru with the idea. He was very good student for the Buddhist Guru also, but with the idea of defeating Buddhism. In this case, Divakara was also, he attempted to kill the Guru. So he undertook that Tushagni. It was made finally because they were truthful. Whatever the master said so many times that no, you don't have to do it. You are such a good student. I was only correcting for this purpose, but for that it will be a great loss to the society. But he was a truthful student, so he said, no, I will do it. So it was made and the fire was lit. Now, I think, what is the poem called? Sri Krishna Karnamrita or something. While the fire was going up, he composed a great poem, which is very famous. He was narrating and others were writing down. But the last one line perhaps he could not write because the fire had reached there. Half a line or so it remained. I think whether I am confusing, I don't know. Most probably it is the Kalidasa wanted to complete that. It seems he had a Akashvani, repeatedly he was trying, then finally it was said that don't try to add, in a pearl garland, don't try to add a stone. Kalidasa got that, and so he stopped doing it. The poem it's very much well known. So, this is what living the knowledge. Our people were like that. We have this culture of living the knowledge. You know that when Shankaracharya was arguing with Kumaril Bhatta, it is not like our drawing room argument that we go on arguing and then we go back and have our own drinks and whatever we want. It is not that kind of an argument at all. The condition in any argument was that suppose Shankaracharya gets defeated, he has to leave his sannyasa and take to the household life. Can you understand the condition for a renunciate, that he has to leave the sannyasa and take to household life? If Mandana Mishra gets defeated, then he has to leave his household life and take to sannyasa, because it was about the household rituals and the sannyasa knowledge. That was the argument about. If you win, if you lose, that means you accept the other party's argument. So it is not that, well, I have accepted, I have got defeated. No, you have to follow that. Knowledge means until you follow whatever is the Viveka is saying, the reason is saying, then your reason is not pakka. That is why in our Viveka, Vairagya, etc., Sadhana Chatushtaya, Viveka means discrimination. Discrimination between what is permanent and what is impermanent. Now a scientist will be able to understand very well what is permanent and what is impermanent. But that will be English discrimination, all right, but we will not call it Viveka. Why? Because he will discriminate the impermanent and the permanent, but still follow the impermanent. You understand? Whatever is futile, he will not leave it. If you understand that this is the permanent, you have to take up that permanent goal and have to do dedication, full dedication to the permanent. Then only it is called Viveka. Although the translation of Viveka is discrimination, it is not the theoretical discrimination. It is not a bookish discrimination. It's a life discrimination. Whatever you understand to be true, you have to follow that. And it has been taken to such a height that who will judge who is winning? Because both were the greatest pandits greatest scholar of that era. There was nobody to judge. So they appointed Mandana Mishra's wife as the judge. You should have imagination. If Mandana Mishra loses, then the wife will become widow. Mandana Mishra has to take sannyasa. And the wife will have to give the judgment. Suppose Shankaracharya wins, the wife has to say that Shankaracharya has won. That means she is accepting widowhood at the same time. Will you be able to remain impartial to that extent? But they had the faith that Ubhay Bharati will be impartial in her judgment. Even Mandana Mishra had the faith. Shankaracharya had the faith. Both of them agreed that let Ubhay Bharati, she is a Vidushi, she is a learned woman, so let her be the judge for this. This is the position given to the women in our country. And you know that finally she was not able to decide who is going to win. It was going on. Finally she said that I will apply my subtle judgment. What is that? 2 flower garlands were made and both were put on one on Shankaracharya's neck, one on Mandana Mishra's neck. She said that you are arguing all right, but if you are true to your argument, if you are Satya Pratishtha, that means you are established in the truth, the garland will live for a longer time. If you are not a Satya Pratishtha, your garland will wither. And Mandana Mishra's garland withered. So he took up sannyasa, he became the Sureshwaracharya, the Sringeri Math Pratishtata, who established the Shankara Matha in Sringeri. So, and he took up sannyasa, then the story says that Ubhay Bharati also followed them. That is one truth. Another said that her body fell. We don't know which is, but there are different versions. She also followed, she became in the cinema which had Shankaracharya, Ubhay Bharati was feeding them also. She became one of the group members. So this is what was meant by living the words, that living a truth. So when we say Tejasvi now adhitamastu, it means this great thing. May our learning become brilliant. Only when we live the learning, it becomes brilliant. Ma vidvishavahai, let there not be intolerance between us. Even the guru may become intolerant about, sometimes the shishya may be absolutely a dance. Many things can happen, or so egoistic that he or she may put the guru into trouble by various ways. But still the guru cannot have any intolerance towards that. But there is a possibility of being intolerant. So, there are so many stories, if I go on telling them, but these are all Upanishadic stories. In Taittiriya Upanishad, this is one of the important 10 Upanishads. Before the Upanishad starts, the story is that this Taittiriya name has come from Tittira Pakshi. Tittira means, I think, what is that, bridges or something, that chota, small Tittira Pakshi? Titir bolte hai na? English, titar, adha bater. Tittira. From that, how? In the ashrama of, again names do not come, Yajnavalkya's guru, it is Aruni, I think. Does anybody know? Is it Aruni? In the ashram, there were many disciples. Of them, Yajnavalkya is considered to be the greatest rishi of the Upanishads. The huge Brihadaranyaka, it is all Yajnavalkya's statements, full of the Yajnavalkya. Even Taittiriya also is supposed to be in another manner. But Brihadaranyaka is written by Yajnavalkya. That is Yajnavalkya Maitreyi Samvada. The conversation between Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. Yajnavalkya Gargi Samvada. Another Brahma Vidushi lady, Gargi, between them. There was another lady called Bhikshuni there. She was Sulabha. All these things. The Yajnavalkya was one of the best known and poet of that era, so to say, the very well known one of the greatest knowers, so to say. Although the knowers cannot be compared, but in his Panditya and all, he was greatest that way. So he became very egoistic. As I said, that the question of becoming egoistic always comes in also. He was a great erudite scholar. So one day a great quarrel was going on in the ashram. I am using my own depiction also. There was great quarrel going on between Yajnavalkya and his guru. Then all the other Shishyas was looking at with horror and all, what is this happening? Because they were of much inferior. Yajnavalkya had the audacity to fight with the Guru also. Fight means with arguments about the truth and all. It went on to such an extent that the Guru got annoyed and he cursed him. He said that whatever Vedic Upanishadic knowledge I have given you, you give it back to me and go away from here. That was the order given by him. Figuratively, the Upanishad says that he had to vomit the knowledge. That means whatever he has gained, he has to vomit. But apply your own intelligence when you have taken some food and you are vomiting. Is not your touch coming in that vomit. It is not the original. This is my interpretation I am adding. Suppose you have gained knowledge from your Guru, but when you are giving back, some color of your personality will automatically come to that. It will not be the original what you have taken. So Yajnavalkya vomited whatever he had taken. Now he was so great that whatever he vomited was greater than the original knowledge. It had so much of clarity and everything that everybody wanted, the disciples wanted that, what is this? It is coming from Yajnavalkya. I mean, their obedience got drifted from their own Guru to the co-disciple who was greater, perhaps, like that. I am trying to incorporate all the problems we have in our ashram life also. Everybody will have here. Nobody speaks openly about it, that's all. So, they took the form of Titira Pakshi. They became bird. This is where the myth is added. They became the Titira birds. And they started eating the vomit. From whatever he had thrown up, that thrown up thing, the Titira Pakshi, the disciples who became Titira Pakshi, they started eating. That means gaining that knowledge from whatever Yajnavalkya has, you call it regurgitated. No? What is that? Regurgitated. Huh? Regurgitated. That means the same, na? Whatever you have thrown out. So that regurgitated knowledge, these Titira Pakshis took. They absorbed and they started preaching it. So actually the Yajnavalkya's knowledge became more predominant over there. That is why the Taittiriya Upanishad came out of this. So it is called Taittiriya Upanishad. See, the stories are beautiful stories behind. Now again, what did Yajnavalkya do? He had to give out everything he had received. So he went away from there and did his own tapasya. And again got established in Brahma Vidya. That means he got rid of his ego, whatever he was having by his austerity, by his tapasya. Then the later part of the tapasya, what we get in Brihadaranyaka, is the later Yajnavalkya. There the Brihadaranyaka starts as the Yajnavalkya had two wives. One was Maitri, another was Katyayani. Upanishad says that Maitri was a Brahma Vidushi. That means he was always after the knowledge of Brahman. That is knowledge of truth. She was aspiring for knowledge of truth. Whereas Katyayani was a worldly person. She was given to the only household things and worldly also in her mind. So one day when finally Yajnavalkya, by that time he had already become very renowned knower and he was respected everywhere, particularly in Janaka Raja's Mahasabha. There what happened? Janaka Raja was famous for calling the assembly of the knowers, assembly of the scholars, etc. So one day he said that I would like to find out who is the greatest knower of Brahman. See, all these are very funny because there cannot be a judgment about the greatest knower of Brahman. If you say I am great and I am small, then it is not Brahman. There cannot be any such differentiation at all in Brahman. And I am the knower. As a body-mind personality, you are knowing the Brahman, then it is not the non-dual knowledge. There are many other different things also. So he called the assembly to say that. So everybody flocked there, all the knowers of Brahman went there, and Yajnavalkya had kept 100 or 1,000 something. The number is all again mythical number, with all very good cows, golden studded and all, their horns were covered with gold. The cows were there, that he had kept for the gift to be given to the best knower of Brahman. He said that now you argue, and whoever wins, whoever is the best knower of the Brahman will be given all these 1,000 cows, I think. He had kept. 1,000, no? They will not like to have 10 or 100. Always 10,000 or 1,000 something. Our scriptures are always like that because they know people are not interested in 10 or 100. Even if giving bribe, if you give 100 rupees, nobody will accept. You make it 10,000, 1 lakh, even the honest person will accept. It is very common. They knew, our scripture writers, they knew about it. So, all were quiet, nobody says anything. Suddenly Yajnavalkya got up and asked his Shishya that, please take away the cows to my ashram. He asked his Shishya, take away all the cows to my ashram. Shishya went up and was taking away the cows. Then some got up. How can you take away the cows? You have to prove that you are the greatest knower of Brahman. Why are you taking away the cows? No, I did not say that I am the greatest knower of Brahman. Cows are there. Nobody is saying that he is great knower of Brahman or anything. The cows are there. We need the cows and the king is ready to give the cows. So I tell that nobody is interested in the cows. You take them to my ashram. Then the other person said that then you have to prove that you are the greatest knower of Brahman. Okay, you ask me questions, you ask me, you test me. So then comes the one after another, many people questions, and it's a very interesting conversation there in Janaka Raja's Sabha. Now these are all the later part. When Yajnavalkya wanted to take up sannyasa, he said that I am going to take up the sannyasa life. So my property I am dividing into two. Half for Maitri and half for Katyayani. I am not going to take anything, I am going away. So Katyayani was very happy because previously he had to take, even for a sari, she had to take the permission from Yajnavalkya. Now the half of the property, he was a very rich hermit also, because everybody used to give lot of gift and all. So half the property will be mine, exclusively mine. I don't have to be asking anybody permission for getting anything. So Katyayani was very happy with the decision that let the husband go away, but the property will be with me. It's all very realistic. So, but Maitri was not at all happy. He asked that, well, you are giving us the property and going away. For what you are going away? And if you are going away for some supreme truth, then by having the property, can I attain that? Yajnavalkya said, no, certainly not. By renouncing this you can attain, but not by enjoying the property you can attain. Then this statement of Maitri is very famous. By many writers it is quoted also. Yenaham namritasyam tenaham kim kuryam. Maitri said this, the great Maitri of our country. Yenaham na amrita, namritasyam, by which I will not become immortal. Tenaham kim kuryam. By that what shall I do? If you are going for attaining immortality, I also would like to have that immortality. And which will not make me immortal. What shall I do with that? I am not interested in that. So Yajnavalkya became very happy with that. He called Maitri, come, sit near. I have always been fond of you. Now you have become all the more fond by saying what you have said. I will tell you which will make you Amrita, which will make you immortal. I will give you the advice which will make you immortal. Then starts the Yajnavalkya Maitreyi Samvada. It's a big chapter of Brihadaranyaka. So this is the Yajnavalkya, which why I started and where I started, I don't know. It is all the Ma Vidvisha Avahai. Don't forget the link. You have to remind me the link because I will move from here to there. I wanted to explain that Ma Vidvisha Avahai, there can be intolerance between the Guru and the Shishya. And there has been. The present Guru Shishyas, they do not disclose, they don't say. The earlier Guru Shishyas, they used to disclose everything. Present also they say, wherever they are truthful they say. There will be such, but one has to get over all that by their sadhana. Because the auspicious goal should be always shining in front, then nothing will happen. That is why they are praying Ma Vidvishavahai. So if we uttered the prayer with the full emotional association, then what will happen? That if I have a little speck of intolerance towards the Guru also, that should go, because I am earnestly praying that we should not have any intolerance. So while praying that it will get activated. The prayer is not directed to the God or anything in the yonder heaven or so. It is addressed to our own mind. It is self-addressed prayer. The moment when we are saying Ma Vidvishavahai, our mind should become clear of all the intolerances we have towards the Guru or the Shishya or whatever. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Three kinds of Shanti. Generally they are interpreted as we call Tritapa. That means three kinds of difficulties we face. Three kinds of obstacles we have. Where? Here again you have to remember the whole Upanishad or any spiritual book in our country is not meant for the external anything. That we call sadhana chatushtaya. There we have shamadamadi shadga sampatti, the sixfold treasure we call it. Shamadama, titiksha, uparati, shraddha, samadhi. These are the 6 kinds of treasure. Now it is not to do anything with the external treasure. All the treasures are internal. So here also it is all to do with the internal. The obstacles are internal obstacles towards on this path to become universal, to expand. There are some obstacles. So the first one is called, the Shanti is from Adi Daivika Shanti. That means there should not be any obstacle from the providence. So often a person who gets in touch with the Guru also, it is providential partly. Or one who goes away from the Guru also, partly it could be because of providence. Suppose the Guru leaves his body, it is providential. So when we say Adi Daivika Shanti, it has got a general meaning also. There should not be earthquake, there should not be any meteorite striking, or so the natural calamities, flood, etc. They used to call it Adi Daivika, means on which we don't have any hand, it is providential. So peace from the providential obstacles. Suppose we are studying Upanishad. Now if there is a earthquake and the building falls, then our study will be affected. Suppose it is in the forest and it is so storm and tremendous cyclone comes, then our studies will be affected. So there must be Adi Daivika Shanti to proceed with this communication. That is the first must. The next one is called Adi Bhautika Shanti. That means which is not from animals. including human animal also. We are also animals. You should remember that. And they are more disturbing. Nowadays particularly because there could be attack of the terrorists and all. This is also Adi Bhautika. So attack of the animals or even war. War is human created war. So these are all Adi Bhautika Tapa, and Shanti from that is called Adi Bhautika Shanti. Now that Adi Daivika and Adi Bhautika are also a little connected, because suppose the earthquake comes because of our dams, which has been created by human beings. So you cannot call it providential. We have created the dam. So it is partly Adi Bhautika, partly Adi Daivika. But those days people were living simple life, so these things were not there. The last one is Adhyatmika Shanti, which is not dependent on any animal origin or providential origin. It depends exclusively on ourselves, our own internal being. Adhyatmika means our own internal being. What is the Adhyatmika Shanti? There can be again threefold like that. Suppose I am suffering from physical something. Not suffering, I have created that. I have taken very exciting food, or I have taken too much food also. So, will you be able to concentrate in that condition when you are having lot of gas or acidity or overfull condition? The mind will not get focused. So that physically also we may create problem for us, which will stop the communication, which will not allow the proper communication. If we take too much of Rajasika food or Tamasika, that is stale food, rotten food, or too much exciting food, spicy food, then that will make the mind agitated or drowsy. Both are. If we have taken Tamasika food, the mind will become drowsy and you will be sleeping or dozing in the class. And if you have taken Rajasika food, although you are in the class, your mind will be running around for your ambition and all those things, excitement. So to take the Sattvika food, it is exclusively on us, and to have the Shanti of the body. First of all, Shanti of the body, that is physical calmness, physical composure. Then the mental silence or composure, that the mind should not be disturbed by desire and ambition, greed, etc. It should be reasonably quiet. The third one is intelligential. The third part of our aspect of our being, the physical, mental and intelligential. That the ego should be under sublimation. If the intelligence is too egoistic, it says that I understand everything better, then it will not be able to receive anything. If the intelligence feels that I know everything, then you cannot receive any knowledge. You have to be humble. So this ego is the greatest obstacle in the knowledge communication. If ego is at a higher level, then knowledge communication cannot take place. So Adhyatmika Shanti is very important for us, because Adi Daivika and Adi Bhautika we cannot do anything. We have to take care of the Adhyatmika Shanti. That is, we must have exercises and food and occupations which will keep our physical being in a calm state, poised state. We must have our interactions, thoughts, readings, seeings, everything which will keep the mind in a reasonably desire-free, calm state, not agitated, excited state. We must have our intelligence always in a humble mood. That means we must understand that I don't know anything. Even as a person knows more and more, he understands that I don't know anything. That understanding becomes more. So the humility, that is why in our Shastras it is said, Vidya dadati vinayam. All these statements we hear from childhood, they have great meaning. Vidya dadati vinayam. If you read more and you become more egoistic, I have mastered everything, I am the greatest historian or so. No, our Shastras say, Vidya dadati vinayam. The more you know, the more humble you will become. Even Einstein or Feynman, towards the end they used to say that I don't know anything, maybe this, maybe that, I don't know anything. Feynman was noted for it. The last part of his life when he was lecturing, he will say so many times that this is what we have found, but I don't know anything. Even Upanishad says that this is what we have learned from our teachers, and stops there. Kathopanishad stops with the statement that etavadhi anushasanam. Anushasanam means, anu means following. Shasanam means whatever discipline has been given to us by our forefathers, by our guru, from that we have learned up to this. There might be something more which we don't know, we are not saying. Some places they will say that about the truth, Svemahimni, about the ultimate Brahman, they will say, it reigns in its own glory. Athava na. Or may not be, there is no glory at all. See, these are the greatest statements of the Upanishads, the way they say. At the end, he is saying Svemahimni. They tried to explain that what is this Brahman and what is the greatness of the Brahman. But whatever we call greatness and all these are our mental concepts. So you describe the greatness of it and say that Svemahimni means he is glorious in his own form. We cannot describe it at all. And then he says, Athavana, he may not be glorious also. This is our Upanishads. You won't find this kind of scripture perhaps anywhere where yesterday I said that it is the later part of the Vedas are criticizing the former part of it, saying that it is all, if you stop there, then it's all gone. And those who are only given to rituals, they are the kamis, they are only desireful. That is why they don't want to progress further. All these are there. Om Sahana vavatu.
Om Sahana vavatu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahanau bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Sahaviryam karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
One important point I have not told, that Dvivachana I said it is all in two for teacher and the student. So, first I started teaching I had a spinal surgery in this region. गला काट के अंदर में स्टील लगाया गया है सब, लिटरली गला काट के इतना तक काटा हुआ है यहाँ. So that disc has been removed and they have put one stainless steel plate with screws, fixing it with the two vertebral bones are fixed with a bone grafted in between. 3 are fixed. The bone has been taken from here, from the round bone here. They have made a beautiful chakki and that put there, and 3 screws are put. At that time, to stabilize the neck, they had put a Philadelphia collar, they said, that he will not be able to move the neck for quite a few months. It was quite torturous. Those days they used to do, now they don't have to take so many things. So it was only the 14th operation in Trichur of that kind. So it was very early, 2002. So I could not do much at that time. I was only walking and the whole inside was sore because of the constant wearing the collar, and Kerala is a place of humidity and warm humidity, very hot humidity. So the whole place had become ulcerated. But still I would not be allowed to open the collar. So that was the situation when I had nothing to do. So Ma said that you take some class here. Before that, we did not have any class in the ashram. Swamiji used to take satsang sometimes. There was no regular class. Sometimes evening after 11 o'clock, he will say, come, I will teach you something like that. Then sometimes he would regularly teach Bhagavad Gita, but it was not very regular class or anything. So we started taking in the morning. We had the small dining room there. Hall is, it's not hall, only 12 people could take food together those days. We have the small mud cottage in which there were two rooms. One room Swamiji was sleeping, the other room was the office. And beyond the two rooms there were three strips of area. Front was a front veranda and two sides were too narrow where you could put one single cot and walk by the side of it. And behind was also a similar veranda like thing. That was the typical Kerala cottage. It was a mud cottage with a mud tiled roof. Whenever rain used to fall, we used to put 13-14 buckets in different places because the roof had become very old and it would leak. Every time our carpenter repairs this side, the other side starts leaking. It was like that. And we were not printing Swamiji's books because there was no place to store the books, and books were getting spoiled by seepage of water. That was the situation. I am talking about 2002. The new building came in 2005, just after that, of course. So in that, these two sides, one was a storeroom and one piece of land, room I was staying there, just close to Swamiji's room, I was staying there. And behind Ma was staying, means her cot was lying on her cot, she could touch the roof. And if she spreads her hand on the right, she could touch the hill because there was no window. The whole side was with some wooden battens. She could project her hand from there, touching the. Sometimes snakes also would have come and got into the fridge also once. Anyway, fridge means under the fridge. So that was the situation where we started teaching, and the first book we took was Kathopanishad. So I started teaching Kathopanishad. Those who know our Prabhakaranji, our Balu's father Prabhakaranji, Lakshmi auntie, they had started coming. So Prabhakaranji also was there in the class. In the afternoon I used to walk in the front road. That used to be generally a walking satsang. So Prabhakaranji was walking with me, and he raised the question that everywhere our Shastras, Upanishads, they are always praying for everybody. Why the Rishi became so selfish in Kathopanishad that he said only two? What about the entire world? Only the teacher and the student should be protected and not the entire world. Everywhere it is Sarve Bhavanti Sukhina, everywhere it is Sarva, Sarva, Sarva. Why it is Dvivachana is very rare to find. In another two places it is there. It was a great question. I could not answer. But I told him that let me think. I have never thought about it like this. I have accepted it. You know, for about 4 or 5 days, it could be 7 days also, I don't remember. The thought was constantly in my mind. How can it be? Our rishis cannot be blamed to be constricted in their prayer. Because basically they have done it from their universality. How can it be constricted? There must be some deeper meaning in it. This is the way we have to read the Shastras. That you cannot just fight out against it's all rubbish because it's a very selfish prayer. You have to understand with the context, the rishis who have declared all to be the immortal. Not that I am immortal and you all listen to me, I am the great leader of you. Everywhere it happens like that. The one religious person they are saying, no, you are also immortal. The pity is that you don't know. I have known and you can also know. When anybody knows, he becomes immortal. In Bhagavad Gita, how many times Krishna had said that those who do like this, they become like me. They enter me, they become like me. That means it is open to all to have this final state. So I could not dispose it of saying that the rishis have been selfish in saying that. Then suddenly one day it's like Newton's apple falling or Archimedes' getting into the tub. Oh, it was so great an illumination, it dawned. He said, see, I told Prabhakaranji that Rishis cannot be like that. What has happened is that there is a very deep meaning in it. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, anybody can say. Because all of us can say that we are praying for everybody, let everybody become happy. What is the greatness in that? When he is saying that may the teacher and the student be protected, may we be nourished, may we be like this, like that, it means they are referring not to the teacher and student individual, but to Brahma Vidya. Because Brahma Vidya is the sustaining force of the society. If our country did not have this Vidya, Brahma Vidya, this spiritual knowledge, then it would have been destroyed long back, like Greek civilization, Roman civilization. Our civilization would not have been able to live such unknown period of time. We don't know how long it has been living here. So it is the Brahma Vidya which always bridles the society, which is always taking the society towards auspicious goal. Om Sahana vavatu. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari.